My little brother dropped a message in the family group chat Friday night. Don't come to the BBQ this weekend. My new wife says you stink up the whole party. Mom and Dad spammed heart reactions like it was hilarious. I just typed back one word. Got it. I'm Palmer Whitlock, 35, Executive VP of Engineering at Nexara Biolabs in Raleigh, North Carolina, the company that's about to launch a medical device worth billions. My family. They still think I'm the weird sister who just works in some lab and probably lives paycheck to paycheck. I shut the phone, flipped it face down, and kept signing off on contracts that could buy our parents' neighborhood twice over. Because when people tell me I'm not wanted, I don't beg. I don't explain. I just let them find out the hard way. If you've ever been treated like the family joke, hit that like button and subscribe right now with notifications on. You're not going to want to miss what happened the very next morning when she screamed loud enough for the whole floor to hear. Saturday morning, 9:17 a.m., Blair's voice came through the speaker. Palmer. There's a woman downstairs who keeps insisting she needs to speak to whoever handles angel investments. She won't give her name and says it's urgent. Her husband is with her. I told Blair to send them up. The glass doors slid open exactly 1 minute and 53 seconds later. Tegan walked in first, red bodycon dress, oversized sunglasses pushed up into her hair like she was about to shoot a music video. Gage trailed behind her, hands buried in the pockets of his jeans, eyes on the floor. They both stopped dead the moment they saw me sitting behind the desk. Tegan's sunglasses slipped from her fingers and hit the marble with a sharp clack. Palmer. The word came out strangled. Her gaze bounced from my face to the polished brass nameplate, then to the giant Nexara Biolabs logo that takes up half the back wall. You work here? Gage's mouth actually opened. He looked like someone had punched him in the stomach. This is your office, he managed. I stayed seated, fingers resting on the desk, voice flat. Executive VP of Engineering. What do you two want? Tegan recovered in a heartbeat. Shock flipped into the brightest, fakest smile I'd ever seen. She strutted forward and dropped a thick, glossy pitch deck right in front of me like it was scripted. Oh my God, this is literally perfect, she squealed, clapping her manicured hands together. I'm raising for my medical diagnostics startup, next-gen point-of-care testing, total game changer. We need $2 million to push through FDA clearance. You're literally in the industry. You can write the check today. Gage finally found his voice and nodded hard. Yeah, sis, it's a slam dunk. Family looks out for family, right? I didn't touch the deck. You showed up at my job. No appointment on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend to ask for $2 million. Tegan's smile didn't even flicker. Exactly. Blood is thicker than water, Palmer. I looked her dead in the eyes. No. The smile vanished like someone flipped a switch. What do you mean, no? Her voice shot up an octave. You're seriously telling your own brother no? Gage stepped up beside her. Palmer, come on. This could set us up for life. I repeated myself slower. Leave. Now. The open plan floor outside my glass walls had gone completely silent. Every engineer within 50 feet suddenly found their second monitor fascinating. Tegan's face turned the exact shade of her dress. Are you kidding me right now? She shouted. You sit up here in your fancy corner office making millions and you won't help your own flesh and blood. She spun toward the glass so the entire floor could hear. This is why nobody wants you around. You're jealous that Gage finally has a real partner, and all you have is this cold, pathetic job. Security was already moving. 2 guards in black polos appeared at my door before I pressed anything. Ma'am, you need to lower your voice and exit the building, the taller one said. Tegan whirled on him. Do you even know who she is? That's her brother? Gage grabbed her wrist. Tegan, let's just go. She ripped her arm away. No, she doesn't get to treat us like garbage. The guards closed in. One already had the elevator held open. Gage looked back at me one last time, eyes wide with betrayal. You're really picking this place over us, he muttered as they pulled Tegan into the hallway. She was still screaming about lawsuits, and you'll regret this when the doors sealed shut. Blair stepped in after the chaos disappeared down the shaft. Your brother's wife is a special kind of special, she said. I flipped the pitch deck open just long enough to see the cover page Tegan Ashford, CEO and founder. Gage wasn't mentioned once. I fed the whole thing into the shredder and watched the ribbons curl. My phone started vibrating off the desk before the elevator even reached the parking garage. The first call from Gage hit before I even poured coffee. I let it ring. He called again. Third time. Fourth. On the fifth, I answered. What do you want, Gage? His voice cracked with pure fury. Do you have any clue how humiliated Tegan is right now? She's sitting in the car crying her eyes out because of you. I stayed silent, waiting. You couldn't give us 5 minutes. He kept going. You had to call security like we're trash in front of your entire company. Still nothing from me. You're heartless, Palmer. You always have been. I took a slow sip of coffee. Anything else? He hung up. 10 minutes later, the texts rolled in. Gage. You just killed our future. Gage, Tegan hasn't stopped crying since we left. Gage, hope that big office keeps you warm at night. I muted the thread and opened my Wells Fargo app instead. That's when the notification banner dropped. Pre-approval alert, $480,000 personal loan. Cosigner Palmer Whitlock. Primary borrower, Gage Whitlock. Secondary borrower, Tegan Ashford Whitlock. They had filled the application at 2:14 a.m., using my social security number, old pay stubs I'd left at Mom's house years ago, my exact salary from public SEC filings, and my current address. The bank system had already soft-approved it pending final review. I dialed Mark, my relationship manager at Wells Fargo. Mark, there's a $480 personal loan in my name. Cary Branch. Kill it. He pulled it instantly. Co-signer listed as you. You want hard denial and fraud flag. Hard deny, fraud flag, and freeze any new applications with my info for the next 90 days. Done. Confirmation email coming in 4 minutes. It landed at 10:04 a.m. Status permanently denied. Reason co-signer withdrawal and suspected identity fraud. I forwarded the PDF to Gage. No caption. He called immediately. I declined. He called again. Declined. Then Tegan's number lit up the screen. I answered. You think you're so clever, don't you? She spat. Blocking our loan like a child. You used my identity without permission. It's called family support. You clearly wouldn't know anything about that. You forged my signature on a legal document. Oh, please. You make millions. 480 is pocket change to you. I notice fraud just fine. She laughed cold and vicious. Keep playing the poor victim. I'm telling Mom and Dad exactly what kind of selfish, greedy daughter they raised. By the time I'm finished, you'll be persona non grata at every family event for the rest of your life. Do it, I said. Start with how you tried to steal $500,000 using my name. 3 full seconds of dead air. You will regret this, she hissed. I promise you. She ended the call. I set the phone down and stared out the window at downtown Raleigh. At 10:27, the family group chat exploded. Mom, Palmer. Did you really embarrass your brother and Tegan at your office, Mom? This is not how we raised you. Gage. She called security on us guys. Over money. I left every message on read. By noon, Tegan had posted a long, tear-soaked Instagram story about toxic relatives who only care about money and titles, complete with a shaky video of the Nexara building and captions about being stabbed in the back by blood. She tagged the company account. Blair screenshotted it and sent it to legal within 30 seconds. I told legal to hold off. For now. At 12:43 p.m., another Wells Fargo alert pinged. New joint credit card application submitted. My name and Gage's. Requested limit $50,000. I called Mark again. He killed it before the system even finished processing. I spent the next hour pulling full credit reports from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, placing extended 7-year fraud alerts, freezing my credit at every bureau, and notifying every lender I've ever used that any application without my direct verbal confirmation is to be denied on site. When I finished, I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. They weren't going to stop. That was now crystal clear. A thick brown envelope appeared on my doorstep that same evening. No return address, no courier label, just my name typed in plain font. I carried it inside, dropped it on the kitchen island, and sliced it open with a steak knife. 42 pages slid out, bound by a single black clip. The cover page read, Private Investigation Report. Subject Tegan Ashford. Prepared for anonymous client. Date May 24th. Dad's handwriting jumped out at me before I turned another page. I pulled the small note free first. It was written on the back of an old power bill, shaky blue ink. I've been suspicious for a long time but didn't know how to bring it up. If you can handle this, please do. I'm sorry. Dad, I sat down and started reading. Page 1 summary. Tegan Ashford, age 27, married Gage Whitlock, December 2023. Previous marriage, Maverick Whitaker, 2021-2022, dissolved after Chapter 7 bankruptcy filing. Pages 2 through 12, court documents from Maverick Whitaker's bankruptcy. Tegan had convinced him to max out 8 credit cards for inventory for a beauty product startup that never launched. Total debt, $210,000. Maverick lost his house in Buckhead, his truck, and his credit score dropped to 480. Tegan walked away with a settlement that paid her legal fees and left him with everything. Pages 13 through 20, current credit report pulled yesterday. Tegan personally owes $189,000 across 12 cards, all maxed. Interest alone runs her $3,000 a month. Pages 21 through 34, brand new personal loans opened in the last 3 months, all in Gage's name only. Total borrowed $142,000. Purpose listed on each application: home renovation and business equipment. No renovations have started. No equipment purchased. Bank statements show the money moved to Tegan's personal account the same day it hit. Pages 31 through 38, screenshots of text messages between Tegan and a loan officer. She used Gage's phone to message when he was at work. One exchange stood out. Tegan, just tell them my husband makes $120K at the dealership. They won't check. Loan officer approved. Pages 39 to 42, social media deep dive. Private Instagram stories bragging about upcoming 7-figure seed round photos in front of houses she doesn't own, captions about building an empire. Every post hidden from Gage's account. I read the whole thing twice. Dad must have hired the investigator right after the wedding. 6 months of watching, paying, waiting. 6 months of pretending everything was fine at Sunday dinners while Tegan smiled across the table. I flipped back to his note and read it again. The handwriting got shakier toward the end, like he'd written it fast before he changed his mind. My phone stayed silent the rest of the night. No more calls from Gage, no more threats from Tegan. The group chat had gone quiet too, probably because Mom and Dad were trying to figure out what story to believe. I poured a glass of wine, sat on the couch, and opened my laptop. First, I emailed Maverick Whitaker. The investigator had included his current contact info. Subject line: Tegan Ashford. Body: I have the full report. I know what she did to you. I need 5 minutes of your time tomorrow night. Name your price. He replied in 6 minutes. No charge. Just tell me when and where. Next, I pulled up the property records for the house Gage and Tegan live in. Carey address, 3 bedrooms, built 2018. Deed still shows my name alone. I bought it 4 years ago so Gage wouldn't be stressed about rent while he figured out his career. Title never transferred. Mortgage in my name only. Monthly payment auto-drafted from my account. I opened the mortgage portal and turned off autopay. Then I scheduled an email to my real estate attorney for Monday morning. Subject: begin formal notice to vacate, 30 days. I closed the laptop, picked up Dad's note again, and ran my thumb across the ink. He hadn't asked me to fix anything. He hadn't begged. He just handed me the truth and trusted I would know what to do with it. For the first time all day, I felt something close to calm. Tomorrow was Sunday. The BBQ was still 24 hours away, and I already knew exactly how this would end. Sunday evening, 9:00 p.m. sharp. My SUV rolled into the driveway of the Carey house. I left the engine running and the headlights on. Maverick Whitaker stepped out of the passenger seat, tall, quiet, carrying a thin manila folder. He had landed at RDU 2 hours earlier on the last flight from Atlanta. I paid for the ticket. He still refused to take cash. Gage opened the front door before we reached the porch. "Palmer, what the hell are you doing here?" I walked straight past him into the living room. Tegan was on the couch in yoga pants and an oversized hoodie, phone in hand, mid-scroll. She looked up and froze. Maverick followed me in and closed the door behind him. Tegan's face drained of color. "Mav." The name came out a whisper. He didn't smile. "Hey, Tegan." Gage glanced between us, confused. "Who's this?" I answered for him. "Maverick Whitaker, Tegan's first husband." Tegan shot off the couch. "What is this? Some kind of ambush?" "Sit down," I said. She didn't. Gage did. Maverick placed the folder on the coffee table and flipped it open. Court-stamped bankruptcy petition 2022, 8 maxed credit cards, a house foreclosed in Buckhead. His signature next to hers on every page. He pulled out his phone next, opened a screenshot gallery, and laid the phone face up. Texts from Tegan to him, 2 years old. "Sign the new cards, baby, it's just temporary. Once the business takes off, we'll pay it all back, promise. Stop being paranoid, the bank won't even notice." Gage stared at the screen like it was written in another language. Tegan found her voice. "That was years ago. I was young. I made mistakes. You drained him dry. I cut in. Then you moved on to the next one." Gage finally looked at her. "Tegan." She turned on him, eyes blazing. "She's lying. She's trying to ruin us because she's jealous." Maverick spoke for the first time, voice low. "I lost everything. House, credit, savings. She told me the same story she's telling you now. Word for word." Tegan lunged for the phone. Maverick pulled it back. I reached into my bag and set a single document on top of the bankruptcy papers. The deed to the house we were all standing in. Recorded 2021. Owner Palmer Whitlock. Sole name. No mortgage in Gage's name. No co-signers. Gage read the first line and went pale. I kept my voice level. "I bought this place 4 years ago so you wouldn't have to worry about rent while you figured things out. Title never changed. Mortgage is in my name only. Insurance, too." Tegan laughed high and desperate. "You're bluffing. You wouldn't throw your own brother out." "I already turned off autopay on the mortgage this morning," I said. "And I've removed my name from every account, loan, and application you've touched." Gage stood up slowly. "Palmer, you can't, I can. And I am. All financial support ends tonight. The house is mine. You have 30 days to vacate." Tegan stepped toward me, finger pointed. "You evil bitch. You think you can just Maverick move between us? Don't." She stopped breathing hard. Gage's voice cracked. "You're destroying my marriage. You're destroying my life." "No," I said. "She did that the day she decided to use you the same way she used him." Tegan's eyes filled with tears, real or fake, impossible to tell. "Gage, baby, don't listen to them." Gage looked at her, then at the deed, then at Maverick's bankruptcy papers still spread across the table. He didn't say a word. I picked up my keys. 30 days starts tonight. Maverick followed me to the door. As I stepped onto the porch, I heard Tegan scream, "This isn't over." Gage's voice smaller than I'd ever heard it. "Tegan, is any of this true?" The door closed behind us. I dropped Maverick at his hotel, thanked him, and drove home in silence. My phone stayed dark the entire way. Gage started calling at 11:47 p.m. Sunday night and didn't stop until the sun came up. 57 missed calls, 219 text messages. Gage Palmer. "Please pick up Gage. I'm on my knees here." Gage. "She's throwing clothes in suitcases, Gage. You're literally making us homeless." Gage, "I'm sorry." "Okay, I'm so sorry." Gage, "You're my only sister, Gage. Don't do this to Mom and Dad." I never once touched the green button. Phone stayed face down on the nightstand screen, lighting the ceiling every 30 seconds like a silent strobe. Monday morning, I walked into the office at 7:59 a.m., opened my laptop, and hit send on the email my attorney had prepared over the weekend. To Gage Whitlock, Tegan, Ashford Whitlock. From Palmer Whitlock via Reynolds and Associates. Subject: formal termination of all financial support and 30-day notice to vacate 3 crisp pages. Paragraph 1. Every dollar of direct and indirect support ends effective immediately. Paragraph 2. The residence at 1427 Bellwood Lane, Cary, North Carolina, 27519 is titled solely to Palmer Whitlock. Occupancy permission is hereby revoked. Paragraph 3. You are granted 30 calendar days from receipt to remove all personal property. Day 31 triggers formal eviction. Paragraph 4. Any damage removal of fixtures or attempt to place liens will result in immediate civil and criminal action. Sent at 8:14 a.m. Read receipt from both addresses at 8:16 a.m. Tegan replied to my corporate email at 8:29 a.m. Subject: formal termination of all financial support and 30-day notice to vacate. Nice try. This is the saddest bluff I've ever seen. You don't have the spine to throw your baby brother onto the street. See you at the BBQ tomorrow. Can't wait to watch you try to explain this tantrum to your parents. I forwarded her reply to my attorney with one line: proceed without further delay. At 9:05 a.m., Wells Fargo's Fraud Recovery Division emailed Gage and Tegan directly CCing me. Subject: pre-litigation demand. Fraudulent loan application WF 2025-07174. Amount: fraudulently attempted $480,000 demand repayment of processing fees, investigation costs and statutory damages totaling $11,400 within 90 days. Failure to cure will result in civil suit filed in Wake County Superior Court and referral to the North Carolina Attorney General for felony identity theft prosecution. I forwarded that email straight to Tegan. No text, no emoji. Just the forward. She responded in 9 seconds. Tegan, you went to the bank, you're insane. Tegan, Gage is having a full meltdown. Tegan, you're dead to both of us. Gage resumed calling at 9:22 a.m. I declined every single one. By noon, the family group chat had turned into a war zone. Mom Palmer. What on earth is this lawyer email, Mom? You cannot put your brother on the street. Dad, call me immediately. Gage. She's trying to make us homeless before the holiday. Aunt Linda. This is not Christian behavior. I muted it and flipped the phone to do not disturb. At 2:17 p.m., my attorney confirmed the 30-day notice had been hand-delivered by licensed process server. Tegan signed for it at 1:59 p.m. with a middle finger to the camera. At 4:11 p.m., the mortgage servicer confirmed auto payment permanently canceled. Account now requires manual approval for any transaction. At 6:27 p.m., Tegan created a new group chat titled Family Meeting and added me, Gage, Mom, Dad, 2 uncles, and 3 cousins. Tegan. Everyone needs to see what Palmer is doing to her own blood. Attached lawyer letter plus Wells Fargo demand PDF. Mom Palmer, this has gone way too far, Dad. We are talking tomorrow whether you like it or not. Gage, she's killing us. I left that chat without a word. At 8:52 p.m., the lobby concierge buzzed my condo. Ma'am, a Mr. Gage Whitlock is downstairs. Says it's life or death. Tell him I'm not available. Security footage showed Gage pacing the lobby for 23 minutes, hands in his hair, before he finally walked out into the rain. By midnight, my phone showed 289 new messages and 71 missed calls. I didn't open a single one. Tomorrow was Memorial Day. The barbecue was still scheduled for 2 p.m., and I already knew exactly what I would place on the picnic table. Memorial Day, 1:58 p.m. I pulled into Mom and Dad's driveway in Durham one last time. The backyard already smelled of charcoal and ribs. Country music drifted over the fence. Aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, everyone laughing, red cups in hand. Tegan stood beside Dad at the grill in a white sundress and cowboy hat, flipping burgers like she'd been born into the family. Mom spotted me first. Her smile faltered for half a second, then she forced it wider and waved. Palmer. You made it. I walked straight through the gate, across the grass, and stopped at the long picnic table covered in red checkered cloth. Nobody noticed the thick manila folder in my hand until I set it down with a heavy thud right between the potato salad and the baked beans. Silence spread like spilled beer. I opened the folder and spread the documents in a neat row. First, the original deed to the Carey house, my name only recorded 2021. Second, the 30-day notice to vacate signed for by Tegan yesterday. Third, the mortgage statement showing missed payment and acceleration clause triggered. Fourth, Wells Fargo's pre-foreclosure notice dated this morning. Fifth, Maverick Whitaker's 2022 Chapter 7 bankruptcy discharge, every page stamped with Tegan's signature beside his. Gage dropped his plate. Coleslaw splattered across the patio. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad's tongs froze midair. Tegan laughed, nervous and loud. "What is this, some kind of joke?" Gage stumbled forward and fell to his knees in front of me, voice breaking. "Palmer, please. I'll fix it. I'll leave her. I'll do anything. Don't do this in front of everyone." I looked down at him. "You had 30 days. You chose to spend them lying." Tegan stepped closer, cheeks red under the hat. "You're doing this here. On a holiday. You're sick." Mom finally found her voice. "Palmer. Honey, we can talk inside." "No," I said. "Everyone deserves to see exactly who they've been defending." Dad stared at the bankruptcy papers like they were written in blood. "Tegan, is this true?" She rolled her eyes. "That was years ago. People change." Gage was crying now, hands clutching my jeans. "I didn't know, I swear. I didn't know the full story. I love her. Please, Palmer." I stepped back so his fingers slipped off the fabric. Tegan kept going. "You're just jealous because nobody wants you. You're alone with your money and your big job, and you hate that. We're happy." Aunts gasped. Someone turned the music off. I looked at Mom, then Dad, then every face that had taken Tegan's side for the last 6 months. 30 days, I said. After that, the bank takes the house. The loans in Gage's name are his problem now. I'm done paying for lies. Gage sobbed louder. "You're my sister. You stopped being my brother the day you let her use my name to steal." Tegan lunged forward like she might grab the papers. Dad caught her wrist without thinking. Mom's eyes filled with tears. "Palmer, please don't leave like this." I closed the empty folder. "I already left," I said. "Today was just the goodbye you forced me to deliver in person." I turned and walked back through the yard. Nobody moved. Nobody called after me. The only sound was Gage crying into the grass and the sizzle of meat burning on the grill. I got in my car, backed out, and drove away without looking in the rearview mirror once. 3 months later, the foreclosure was final. NK padlock gleamed on the front door. The foreclosure sale happened on a Tuesday morning. I didn't attend. The trustee emailed me the final paperwork at 11:07 a.m. Property reverted to lender deficiency, balance waived because I never signed as borrower. Clean break. Tegan got hit with 3 separate civil suits the same week. Wells Fargo for the fraudulent loan fees. 2 credit card companies for the balances she had run up in Gage's name once I locked everything down. Total judgments $163,000 and counting. Her wages, if she ever finds a job, are already garnished for the next 15 years. Gage's credit score crashed to 510. The auto repair shop he worked at ran a routine background check after 6 months of employment and fired him the next day. No one in the Triangle will hire a mechanic with that kind of red flag. Mom and Dad put their little Durham house on the market in August. They accepted an offer $10,000 under asking just to close fast. Proceeds went straight to paying off the newest loans Tegan had convinced Gage to take out before I cut the cord. They moved into a 2-bedroom apartment off Guess Road. Mom still leaves the porch light on every night just in case. I blocked every number that ever belonged to them. Changed my personal cell, changed my work direct line, had Blair screen every unknown call at the office. Even my mailing address is now a private P.O. box under the company name. I never heard from Gage again after the BBQ. Tegan tried once from a burner 2 weeks after the sale. The message was 4 minutes of screaming and crying. I deleted it without listening to the end. Sometimes late at night I pull up the county property records and look at the Carey house. Status bank owned. Photos from the listing show the rooms stripped bare, the walls gauge painted last year, already patched and repainted neutral beige. Dad sent one letter through my attorney in September. Handwritten 3 pages. He apologized for not speaking up sooner. He said Mom cries every time she drives past the old neighborhood. He said Gage sleeps on their couch some nights and hasn't spoken to Tegan in weeks. He asked if we could ever sit down as a family again. My attorney mailed the reply. I dictated no. That was the last contact. People keep asking if I feel guilty, if I miss my little brother, if blood really isn't thicker than water. The truth is simpler. Sometimes protecting the family means knowing exactly when to cut the poison out, no matter how loud it screams, no matter how much it bleeds. I sleep fine now. The end. Thank you for watching the full story. If it hit you even a little, drop a like, leave a comment and subscribe so you never miss the next one. See you soon.